would feature, I think, Batgirl and Poison Ivy and probably Catwoman.
Yes.
And the main villain might be the Joker, because I mean it would kind of almost take place afterwards. Now the big thing with that idea though is that Jared Leto pretty much is more or less stated he does not want to come back to play the part, and I will be thanking the God above if this is true, because honestly, by far Jared Leto's performance as the Joker has been the worst ever.
Yes.
I haven't went back to see some of the alternative stuff that never made it into Suicide Squad.
I haven't even bought the movie yet. I will be honest. My biggest thing going, into this movie, if it actually is legitimately something that they're moving forward with, is that the announcement now that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are actually a couple.
They have an open relationship.
Yes, but they're hinting more as the fact that Harley Quinn has left Joker and all this.
She has. I mean, in the comics, she really has. She's trying to move on.
I don't follow the comic books as much. I'm more of a collector, less of a reader.
I happen to know she has, at one point, she goes off and she has she has relationships with a couple other people. At one point, I mean, Joker pretty much tries to kill her. And
I'm still waiting for a Jason Todd movie. Like, they hinted at it so much, and they let fans think of it, in Suicide Squad and all that, and then they pretty much, dropped the ball and, didn't give us nothing. I felt like it was Christmas morning and the Grinch stole all my Christmas gifts. It was awful.
Well, I mean, it would have been sort of interesting. I mean, this is something that we've brought up so many times in the past. If Jason Todd had become this version of the Joker, but I'm sort of glad that they didn't go off and go with the story, because I would prefer to go off and to see that story, the death in the family, that whole story arc done separately. Although I can't see how that would stand up to the cartoon version of that story.
I would have liked seeing it for one specific reason, and that would have basically been because we actually would not recognize the Joker as the Joker. But now the fact that they're not going that route and all that, then Jared Leto's is actually the Joker, so it makes it a little bit more disappointing.
I mean, I don't know. As maybe someone who's a bit of a traditionalist, I didn't like it, and, his performance that much. And to be quite honest, I mean, and I've said this 1,000 times, I'll say it again. When it comes to Batman, you got Mark Hamill, and everyone else is fighting for second place. And which is fighting for somebody.
You mean Joker?
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right. I had to rethink that, but yeah.
Although Mark Hamill as Batman would be quite entertaining.
I don't know. I mean,
Batman with a
scruffy
beard. I don't know. I could see. I would buy tickets for it.
I don't know. I mean,
hell, Batman. Mark Hamill can play an old lady, and I'd go watch it.
Mark Hamill pretty much is anything. I mean, he plays the trickster. On both different Flash series, and stands down probably one of the best villains that the show has ever had. And
I had chills watching him.
It was absolutely fun because I go off and listen to him as the trickster, and I close my eyes and I hear the Joker. So
absolutely,
but I mean,
so there's our other thing. The other theory we want is Mark Hamill, making an appearance at some point as the Joker in live action. As much as I love him in the Killing Joke and all that stuff, we need him live action. Like, this guy has the best voice ever. And the best face. Like, he looks like a demented Jack Nicholson.
I do think that there's money there to do a movie maybe later. You have like an older Batman and an older Joker later on in life.
Yes, when Batman retires into the
well, no, I mean, if you go to the stories, I mean, you could go back to the original, stories of the Dark Knight, where they go off and where Bruce Wayne, Batman comes out of retirement, and goes off and, he had that one rule about not killing any of his villains. And he's come to the conclusion that he doesn't have a choice. He has to go off and he has to kill them off. It's Frank Miller. Go off, look up Frank Miller stuff.
Okay.
And
all we need now is a Batman with dementia.
Hey, there is a comic out there. It's Batman 100, where he literally, at 100 years old, when he is like decrepit, his body is falling apart, that he goes off and he's still fighting Justice, fighting the bad guys, which I think is absolutely hilarious, considering that there. Here's the interesting theory: if you go off and if you take a look at the training, then the amount of abuse that Bruce Wayne does to his own body, then his shelf life for being able to fight crime should only be for about 5 years. Therefore, it can be theorized that Batman really does have superpowers, because he would have to be superhuman to be able to continue doing what he's done for years and years and years, regardless of what version of Batman you're reading in the comics or what version of Batman you're seeing in the movies.
No, that is awesome. So unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show where we have to do our shameless plug. So once again, thank you all for listening. You've heard all our theories about Batman, and of course Ben Affleck. You've heard Kevin Smith's theories and our opinions on that. So we're going to be posting this on our Facebook page as always. So in the comments, just give us your theories. Tell us, if we're kind of little crackpot theorists on ours, and let's have a nice discussion about Batman.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way,
can you handle Batman every year? And
by the way, all the quotes that we used in the show came directly from comicbooks.com. They went off and, so big shout out to them for kind of helping us figure out how we're going to, put this show together.
And you can't go wrong with Batman.
You can't. Well, no, you're absolutely right. You can't go wrong about Batman, especially when you're talking about Joker as well.
Yes. Well, you can't talk about Batman without Joker and all his other villains.
Well, you can, but
the villains make Batman. So, as always, you can follow us on Facebook. So, just go on Facebook, look up Captain Fizz and the Masked Guy.
Yeah.
Or man, or whatever.
I believe I went off and fixed this. So if you look up Captain Fizz and the Masked Guy, you should be able to find us.
At least it's not a Muppet.
Hey, some days I think my life would be better off if I was a Muppet.
I think everybody thinks that some days. So you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at RealCaptFizz, so at RealCaptainFizz.
You can follow this local fellow at That Masked Guy. Follow the show at FizzMask Show, and I don't know what else. Usually I try to go off and throw in our website, www.fizzmaskshow.com. It's still down, but
it will be back up shortly.
And
with a little bit more tweaking.
And future shows, of course, we are going to be talking about FanQuest, which is coming up. We're also... I'm in the midst of trying to put together an interview with someone else from a local convention. Haven't heard back from them, but there's definitely some interest in there. So, once we have more information, we'll let you guys know.
And of course, so FanQuest is May 26th to the 28th. We got the Legends of Wrestling here in Winnipeg on the February 18th.
Yeah, again.
And we got EnterCon August 26th and 27th. I have to say all this. And, of course, HorrorCon on February 12th and February 11th and 12th.
There you go. Okay, so...
Wow, I actually remembered all that.
You're a better man than I would have had to write that stuff down. So yeah. That's about it. So in the meantime, and in between time, good night, God bless, may the force be with you.
And as always, stay frosty, my people, and I'm about to hunt some Batsy. Good night, everybody!
Good night.